You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Syracuse had plenty of chances against NC State to settle for 3 points. And I have three main instances, but honestly, I could be missing some. Three main cases where they could have taken the field goal and instead opted to go for it on fourth down. There was a 4th and 5 in the first half. There was a 4th and goal in the fourth quarter that led to a Jackson Meeks touchdown that I think put them up 24-7 in the fourth. And then there was a 4th and 7 in the red zone at the end of the fourth quarter. There was about 3-ish minutes left in the game. It seemed like an obvious spot to kick a field goal, but once again, Syracuse went for it on 4th and 7. They did not get it in that instance. And once again, I could be missing some. All right. Those were just three that I wrote down, but it seemed like every time that Syracuse really had a chance, with the exception of their one field goal try from 43 yards, but that was after a sack. It was 4th and very long, so they didn't really have much of a choice. But it seemed like every time there was a 4th and manageable on the plus side of the field, they went for it. Especially when there was a 40-yard field goal or less, which you would hope your kicker can make. So here is the deal. All right? I'm going to shoot it to you straight. I really don't care what Fran Brown says or what anyone says, because they're not actually going to admit the truth about the kicking game on this team. They're not going to admit the truth. All right? He's never going to say, quote unquote, I don't trust the kicker. But here's the deal. They don't trust the kicker. Whether it's Brady Denaburg or Jadyn Oh, those three instances, the 4th and 5 in the first half, the 4th and goal, you can debate that if they should have gone for it or not. It was less egregious. It was 4th and goal within, I think, the 2 or 3 yard line. So, okay, we can let that slide. That's more aggressive, but not egregious. But the 4th and 7 at the end of the fourth quarter is not, you can't defend that. You have to kick the field goal there every single time when you're up 24-10. You have to. But they did not in that instance. They don't trust the kicker. If they ever make a comment on it, they're probably going to say something like it's an analytical play, and the analytics say if it's 4th in this distance or less, that you got to go for it. And they might not be wrong. They're probably not lying. At one point, they said in the press conference that the analytics did say to go for it on a couple instances. But here's the deal with analytics, all right? They can be wrong. Analytics don't necessarily always value the points. They really don't. They can be wrong. There's a reason why Brandon Staley is no longer the coach of the LA Chargers. I almost said San Diego Chargers, but it's the LA Chargers. All right? You can't coach a football game solely on analytics. Analytics are a tool, right? They're a tool that you can use, but there's a reason why robots do not coach football. Human beings coach football. Situations matter. Personnel matters. So I don't care if they try to make the analytics excuse or if they don't try to admit it. I think this team showed you, and this coaching staff more specifically showed you, that they do not trust the kicking game on this team. Jadyn Oh, for what it's worth, he made all of his extra points, which is nice to see. He did miss a 43-yarder to the left, but once again, they had to kick that one because it was 4th and forever after a sack. Brady Denaburg, he has been relegated to just kickoff duty. Shout out to Brady Denaburg, though, because he might be the best tackler on the team. I mean, he laid the wood on that NC State player after a kickoff. I mean, my goodness, he hit him hard. He got popped. Shout out to Brady Denaburg there. What does this mean going forward, though, for Syracuse football? All right? Because I just told you, I shoot it to you straight. This coaching staff does not trust their kicking game. They don't. They don't trust them. Actions will speak louder than words. There were multiple instances where they should have settled for the field goal. They did not. They went for it. So going forward, what should you expect? Well, Syracuse is just going to be more aggressive. They're going to be ultra aggressive going forward. I would say anything that is 4th and a manageable distance, let's say, I don't know exactly what the cutoff is, but let's say 4th and 7 is a manageable distance or less in plus territory, they're going to go for it. That's the truth. They're going to go for it. I get not punting. I don't like punting on the plus side of the field unless you absolutely have to. But with field goal games, let's say it's a 35-yarder versus a 4th and 7, I think that they're going to go for it more likely than not. That is the truth. And to be honest with you guys, I support it. I support it. I support the aggressiveness, not because of the principle, but because of the staff's reasoning, whether they want to admit it or not. If you don't trust your kicker to make a field goal, then leave the offense on the field. I don't see the problem in that. If Syracuse had Justin Tucker or any of these All-American kickers that are in college right now, if they had the Florida State kicker, that's their best player on the team, that's different. That's a different story. But Syracuse does not have an All-American kicker. They don't have an All-Conference kicker. So going forward, expect this team to be ultra, ultra aggressive. And I don't have a problem with it because of the personnel. I don't. There was an instance on that 4th and 5 specifically. I recall tweeting like, why are they going for it? It doesn't make sense. They're up 3-0. It's the second quarter of the game. There's no reason to go for it on 4th and 5 in the red zone. Just take the field goal or at least try the field goal. Well, I get it now. I get it. All I ask going forward is that they stay consistent. All right. When they play Pitt next week, don't settle for the field goal on 4th and 5 on a 35-yard attempt. Don't do it. Go for it. That's what you did against NC State. If you don't trust this kicking game, then stick with it. Stay with the offense on the field. So going forward, I will make a vow that I will not tweet to take the points on those situations. If it's different, if it's a 20-yarder, fine, I get it. But if it's like 35 plus, go for it. That was one of my main takeaways from this game. Expect that Syracuse, their offense, they're going to be much more aggressive in the plus side of the field because, once again, whether they want to admit it or not, the coaching staff does not trust their kicker. Whether it's Denaburg, whether it's Oh, they don't trust him. That's the bottom line. All right. So those were the big 2 takeaways. There are 4 main weapons on this offense, and Syracuse going forward is going to be ultra, ultra aggressive in the plus side of the field.